Hello and welcome to Darkroom Episode 5. Today we're going to be looking at a couple different things. The first is a texture pack by Sphax84 known as PureBDCraft. Really cool texture pack. I'll talk about that in some detail in just a minute. The other is a mod by Sonic Ether that some of you have no doubt heard of, the Unbelievable Shaders mod. Really interesting stuff. The whole thing about it is that it adds shadows and depth to the textures in the game and the world. Real shadows, on note, like mine right there. It's really cool because it's very adaptable. You know, it can add motion blur, you can have more or less detail or depth to your shadows, and I think it makes the world look more real, for lack of a better word. Like, even with the textures being whatever they may be, it gives the world depth and character, I think. Really cool stuff. So, Sphax's pack here is interesting in that it's very, I'd say, geometric themed. There's a lot of pentagons and similar geometric shapes in the texture pack that you can kind of see. And it's a recurring theme throughout the texture pack. Really cool stuff. I was going to go ahead and add the water shader mod as well, but as it turns out, it's not updated yet, which is a real shame. I think that would have been really, really cool to put alongside the shader mod, but that's alright. If they happen to update it, I'll go ahead and show that off as well in a little bit more detail. You may have seen it before in the old Minecraft Community Spotlight videos that I used as an introduction, albeit the quality of that introduction was lacking somewhat, and that is something I will be fixing in the very near future. Just so happens I came across some better hardware, so as you can see, it's running much, much better. Good stuff. I like this texture pack for a lot of reasons. This particular one is the 128x version. It actually starts as low as 16x and runs up to 512. So you can be as pixely or as HD as you want to be. But I like it a lot because it's got a lot of detail to it. There's little things, you know, with the bolts on the doors or the specific patterns on the grasses. But at the same time, it's a very simple pack. You've got a kind of, I don't want to say cartoony feel, although that is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's not in a bad way. You know, it's got this sort of, I don't know, this sort of wondrous appeal to it, I guess you'd say. Really cool. Let's go take a look at the village. Like, this is gravel. Crazy, isn't it? I remember we were taking a look at gravel the other day, and it just did not look like this. It was all dirty and stuff, and this looks like, almost like cobble gravel, huh? The sand and the water both have a sort of wavy thing going on here. It's one of the few things that doesn't appear to have a lot of sharp edges. Hey, that cactus has thorns. And let's see, here's some water over here. A little bit hard to see because of how bright it is out here. That's another thing. The shader mod does do a lot to the lighting engine, I've noticed. It's not just that it casts shadows and stuff, but also that it adds a lot of, I guess I'll call it glow. I don't think that's the right word. Maybe haze. It makes the lighting seem a lot more realistic in general. Cool stuff. That being said, the grass blows too. Pretty cool. Nice touch. It's bad the trees don't, but I can understand why. There we go. Here's some water you can see a little bit better. I'll look at the shadows. You can actually see the colors. That's probably the only downside to an advanced lighting engine, is that it can wash things out sometimes. Not too bad, but just enough. Yeah, last time I saw this villager, he looked robotic. Now he looks like a Jawa. Crazy. Oh well. Let's see. Just wandering through the tavern, don't mind me here. Golem looks a whole lot different too. He's got a... You know, this kind of vaguely reminds me of the armor from the guy in Crisis. Like, meets Dremora from Skyrim. I guess we'll call them Dremorises. I think the library looks a lot better with this texture pack. It's really snazzy. You know, I keep wanting to use the word cartoony, but that's not what comes to mind. Simple sometimes comes to mind. I'm not sure the exact word I'd use. Hey, get out of my library. You're not here to learn. You're supposed to go outside and die or something, aren't you? There's a chicken in the library, too. I really should put a door in here. Oh, well. Oops. Yeah, even the lava looks... Geometric is just the word that keeps coming to mind. GUI is done up a lot, of course. It's really nice. You notice that the inventory bar, too, down there also has the little, pentagon highlighter. Even though the boxes are square. Still, I think it works. I don't think I've mentioned yet that the PureBDCraft is also compatible with a number of different mods. For example, there's textures in here for the Clay Soldiers mod, which if you recall we touched on a while back. There are textures for the Aether mod. And Zipline, a bunch of different stuff. Really cool. Very in-depth texture pack. I definitely recommend giving it a look. Check it out if you can. Now, with the shader mod, I'm not going to lie. It is a little bit system intensive. I feel like I'm running it pretty well for the most part. I don't think my FPS has dipped below 50 or 60 much, even during this recording, but I could definitely see where this thing would take its toll on the system. That's probably the only downside I could see to it. But if you don't mind taking a little bit of a performance hit, the shaders mod is definitely something that'll add a lot of depth to your game. It will, I think, change the way you see the game completely. It's really neat. I've been messing with it for the last 3 or 4 days now, and I just haven't gotten tired of it. It's so cool. And if the day comes when the water mod happens to get updated, I'll go ahead and cover that as well. I think the two of them together would be just mind-blowingly awesome. And that's what we're going to do. That said, I mentioned earlier in the week that I was going to be doing something a little bit industrial at some point. And I do plan on it. To jump to the point, what I was going to do is actually a series of videos on various mods that had a sort of, I'll call it industrial theme for lack of a better word. Yes, as you probably noticed, Industrial Craft is among them, but the first I'll be covering is BuildCraft. Something I've been messing with a lot lately, and I think it's really neat. I have devastated my test world with BuildCraft with all the various mining quarries and whatnot I've come up with. But it's a really neat mod. I think I like it a lot. The reason I'm going to be doing them in sequence is because mods like BuildCraft, Industrial Craft, Redstone Power, all of them are surprisingly compatible, very interchangeable. You could take all of those and like Computer Craft and put them all together and make this, industrial mega complex or a fully functioning automated, town. Or there's just so many things you can do with it. The only thing that's limiting you from doing anything is how much work you're willing to put into it and how much imagination you've got with the idea you have. Really cool stuff. So yeah, this weekend we'll be taking a look at BuildCraft first. The coming week we'll probably look at Industrial Craft next, and then Red Power to follow. I'll be trying to do the texture packs in the middle of the week like this one is today. And mods on the weekend. I think that'll be cool. Occasionally I may squeeze in a mod with the texture pack with stuff like this one, like the shaders mod, because it's not something that really needs a whole lot of explanation, or you can just see what it's doing. You can see how it changed the lighting at night and during the day. It's really cool, but it doesn't really need a lot of exposition beyond that. Alright, that being said, thank you for joining us for Darkroom Episode 5. Please subscribe. I love subscribers. They are awesome. And we will do another video this weekend on BuildCraft, so definitely stick around for that. I'm not sure what, if any, texture pack I'll use for it. I probably won't use any, just so you can see what BuildCraft looks like. And that will be cool. So yeah, thanks for checking in, and thank you for watching The Dark Room.